here are some thoughts on hi-hats, and especially about strong or stiff hi-hats, and how this could be in favor of having a clear chick sound. But there are arguments for soft hats, and I've heard soft hats which sounded incredibly nice, just a little softer or darker. But I also heard some weird sounding soft hats, or hats which eventually would kind of stop working as a proper hi-hat, especially when used with the foot for the chick sound. So I have a few ideas about that, and I try to explain this as clearly as I can. It's going to take me a while, just bear with me. The bottom part is ridiculously stiff or strong, or however you would name this. Doesn't move at all, pretty much. It's not too tall. It has a slight hook. So an argument for favoring very strong, very stiff hi-hats, bottom and top, would be or could be that when they close in different phases and portions. They probably do not line up perfectly flat. Mine do not. They are to the eye they are flat, but they are not really flat. So there are portions where air can escape and all that. So the thing is, if you have two slightly misshaped hats and you put them together and they are extremely strong, they want to keep their misshaped form and still touch. And you have, from that you get a lot of noise, a lot of sizzling. And only when you put a lot of force behind it, you are able to make them close and make them align perfectly. But it's you doing that with a lot of force from your foot. And it's going to take a while. Whereas when you have super soft hats, even when they are crazily out of shape, both of them, when you close them with a little bit of force, you make them align perfectly. It's basically you who are doing the alignment of the hats with the foot, or you could think of it that way. And it's very easily done with very soft hats. Basically, instantly. There is a very short period where maybe one part touches first, but after that they just close up and match perfectly. And this could be a problem because maybe they are too airtight because of that. And also there is it could be thought of as a different type of dampening. Soft hats versus strongly built hats. The dampening is starting from where they're touching, and they are touching right at the edge. If the hi-hat is super soft, it's a little bit like muting a cymbal with your fingers or something soft. and it probably has a better dampening effect than something hard. In this example with two strong hats, you have, it still dampens itself, it mutes itself, but with something more rigid and something that takes a little bit more time, not too much time, but just enough time, and there is a lot of sound produced from this very first moment. And the muting is not as clear or as dead. So this made me think that maybe in soft hats, the dampening that starts from the edge all around mutes the outer portion first, where the low frequencies live, and you can still hear the mid-range and the high range from this portion here, but this is dead immediately when they touch. When you have stronger hi-hats, they still mute themselves and it's still starting on the edge, but it's you cannot mute something as clearly when you have hard a strong on strong build. Muting something with something hard is always noisy and not as effective as something soft as hands or a super soft hi-hat. So this is maybe the reason, I don't know, maybe this is all just weird and wrong, I don't know. I think there is something to it, or there could be. And I've heard very thin hats which should basically sound very low in pitch. I've heard some that were pretty high in pitch, and I was wondering why that is. And I'm not talking like, not stomping down like crazy, just closing them, and they are high pitched, but they shouldn't be because they are very thin. And maybe this could be one of the many reasons why this is that you actually hear the mid portion of the hi-hat more, because this gets muted so clearly and effective and fast that the outer portion is, as soon as they close, it's done for. It's there's a little bit of vibration going on here, and then this dies out as well, and then it's no sound. And the stiff hi-hats, it's more of a fight. There is more, even when they touch, a thick or strong material survives a little bit of touching, and you can have still some energy and vibration going on, even right here. So this could be the reason why thin hi-hats can sound high-pitched, and why rather heavy hi-hats can sound pretty, not bassy, but lower in pitch. I would maybe call it something like deeper. It has like depth to it. Yeah, that is basically my idea. I forgot to mention that when I check my hats, I check them basically only for chick sound and splash. I really go for a reliable, solid chick sound, and for a splash sound. And the splash should be splashy and rich and beautiful and loud. You can always play soft. Same with the chick. You can always play, even with heavy hats, you can kind of just play softer. That's one thing I forgot. Another thing is I don't taper my hats for the same reason I said before. I need some strength, especially in the edge portion. So tapering them would mean installing softness, and it could work, and it's sometimes beautiful, but it could be risky. Yeah. The bottom, I make them heavier, at least 100 grams, and the tops are a little bit smaller in size, like a millimeter or something like that. And flatness, again, I think if a hat is visually plain and laying flat on the ground, but is maybe not really perfectly flat, that could be a perfect thing, a perfect state. And the heavier the hats, the more perfect they can be, I think. And when you have super floppy, super soft hats, it's probably helpful to have some divots around the edge, or some torsion, or to have them not perfectly flat, so you get at least some sound when they first touch, because after that first contact, as I said before, it's basically it's just about muting, and they will always mute, and with little force you have them down to 0. Yes, I wouldn't go as far as deliberately tilt my shapes of the hats in order to have them not perfect. That would be a stretch, probably. So I'm mostly fine with the way they just grow and come out, which is visually almost flat, and I think that's good. I think this could be the place to be. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, so when I have drummers come in with hats that are dead, that are muted, that are like you get the sensation of a vacuum, what I do is build some strength back into them, so the two shapes have the option to fight against each other a little bit before they totally close in all around. That's the good thing about thick and strong hats is exactly that you have two things wrestling with each other, and this makes a sound, and we need sound. As far as weight goes, this is, for example, a little over 1 kilo, 1019, and here we have 977, so it's not even 100 grams difference, but close. So this would be for a 14 inch, by the way. This is the weight range where you can really make them super strong, but it's still not a very heavy hat. You have weights way beyond this in rock and pop hats. So this, I would consider this a happy medium. You always have the super light ones, but you can go way heavier than this. To me, as of now, as of today, this kind of makes sense to me. And I have yet to explore soft hats and why they do work sometimes. And I figure that it's more difficult to understand, at least for me, than this case here, which is, yeah. So let's hear some hi-hats. I switch to the mic here and I play through these last three pairs of hats, 73, 74, and 75. And yeah, let's see how it goes.